Nigerian athlete Tobi Amusan has set a new record by winning the 100 meters hurdles, gold at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, the United Kingdom. 25-year-old clocked 12.30 seconds to set a new Games record. This is coming 2 weeks after she became the first Nigerian athlete to win a World Athletics Championship gold as she stormed to victory in the women's 100 meters hurdles in Oregon. Amusan, who had obliterated the world record in an astonishing semi-final where she clocked 12.12 seconds apart over the line at Hayward Field in 12.06 seconds. Amusan had produced a jaw-dropping world record in the semi-finals, smashing the previous best mark of 12.20 seconds held by Kenny Harrison of the United States in 2016. Let's bring you Rise sports correspondent Aaron Akirijola. Aaron, it's good to have you with us. Tobi has made the first Nigerian track, and of course is making headlines regarding this, unprecedented feat so far. How did this happen? Did we see this coming?
We saw it coming, because having had a glorious outing in Oregon and blitzing that record that he actually said, finishing 12.12 in her semifinals. We know that she actually finished 12.06 in the finals that got her the gold medal, but they said it was within assisted by 2.5 meters win per second. So as it stands right now, she will be holding on to that 12.12, which is still good enough because it still is a world record, and she was heavily appreciated for that. She got $100,000 for that. But let me just reel out her stats, so to speak. Right now, she actually holds the world record, 12.12 seconds. She actually holds the Commonwealth Games record, 12.30 seconds. All right, she actually holds the African record of 12.12 seconds. She actually is the Nigerian record holder. African Games record. She actually is the Nigerian Trials record holder. She is the National Sports Festival record holder, African Junior records holder, and former World Junior record holder when it comes to hurdles. She's unstoppable at the moment, burning up the track anywhere she goes to. Right now, everyone who is anyone that did not know the name Tobi Amusan will right now be paying attention.
Oh, I'm paying attention. And she does sound unstoppable. So I'm just wondering, what do you think is next for her in terms of what she's going to tick off the box? Which box she's going to tick?
We are hoping for the Olympics. Okay. She came very close. She finished fourth. If she had probably wind in her sail, if she probably had this kind of momentum that she's having right now, she would have actually won probably gold. You cannot put her past the gold medal come come France 2024, and Paris 2024. Because the next Olympics in 2024, and we're expecting Tobi Amusan to go there and win gold. All things being equal. Bar the fact that maybe injuries might try to slow her down. Now, coming into this year, let's even talk about that. She actually didn't have the very best start to the year. She actually had a foot infection that slowed her down, because there have been talks about the shoes she wears. And because of that, because the foot infection was under her, it's on her heels. So that meant that she had to use extra padding to ensure that it softens that plate and not aggravate it. And it has worked in her favor. Sometimes, as they always say, the silver lining in the dark cloud, the curveball might just turn out to be the best outing for you.
Indeed.
And ever since then, she has been blistered. As a matter of fact, 15 minutes ago, she just ran alongside the 4x100 girls that included the likes of Sarah Ofili, Uwakocha, and they have just won another gold for Team Nigeria. So right now she's unstoppable wherever she goes to. I'm sure she's feeling on top of the world. She is on top of the world because she's a queen of the track as we speak.
Indeed,
a dominant force.
Indeed, Aaron. And when you look at the way she runs, she takes it easy on the strides. It makes it look so easy, and the other contestants have to struggle just to catch up with her. So, how would you describe the background in terms of training? How did she get to this stage?
Now, the point is, one thing that helps athletes in Nigeria, it's that spirit of self-determination. It goes a long way, because as human beings, you need something to move you away from your comfort zone. You might have a coach that has been there before, that knows how to pull the beast out of you. just like Rafa Nadal and his uncle. His uncle was the worst human being. Rafa Nadal would agree to say that, to have actually related with. But as a coach, he was able to see into the future and say, this is how you should be. And Rafa Nadal is the most dominant force when it comes to tennis. And her coach has helped her heavily. The background, she's had to go through a lot. Her parents did not want her to actually run. And maybe it was the kind of motivation she needed. She said her father had, at one time or the other, burnt her running shoes because he did not want her to run. And these things actually instill in you that inner desire to want to do something and prove people wrong. And sometimes that's the tonic you need to become a world beater. And all that has played into her story.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm sure wherever the father is, the father will be proud, because everybody right now, especially those of Ijebu origins, those that, I'm serious, because everybody now are singing the name Tobi Amusan. It's lovely. It's her time. She'll enjoy it. She's 25. She's just hitting the peak of her career. And if she continues this way, I'm telling you, trust me, she will win gold. And if she does that, come on, what else again?
Indeed.
Well, it seems that, analysts are saying that Nigeria should still hope for more because, with the 7 competitions still holding potential for gold for the team on the final day, and World Athletics Championship, that's silver medalist S.A. Brumer still in the competition. We might still be celebrating a lot more sooner rather than later.
I must say that this year has been a great champ for Team Nigeria. And I must say the reason why it's special, a lot of people want to take plaudits, but let's give it all to the athletes. Because we had a shambolic outing in Tokyo 2020. That did not play out as much as we wanted to.
Yeah.
And now, those athletes, most of those athletes that, no thanks to them, to the misgiving of the ministry and the Athletics Federation, missed out on an opportunity to showcase themselves to the world, are now doing so much and winning medals for Team Nigeria. So it is beautiful to see these things play out. Like she mentioned, Esa Brume is still being expected. She also won silver at the just concluded World Championships in Oregon, and we'll be expecting a gold from her, all things being equal, ceteris paribus. We know that we still have boxing to come later on in the day in the 54 kg and the 57 kg. All right, Elizabeth Oshoba is going to again Michelle Walsh of Northern Ireland, and of course we still have women's 4x400 to still go, men's 4x400 to still go, and of course we mentioned women's long jump. So let's see how it actually goes. For now, Team Nigeria seem to be celebrating. We are almost losing count. We are swelling in the rankings, and it pales in comparison when you look at what Australia or probably England has done. But as an African team going to the Commonwealth Games, we have done superlatively well. I must say, Team Nigeria has been a shining beacon, and this is down to resilience. And the reason why I say this is there are people that have paid the price. Over the years, they never got the recognition, their names and might never be remembered. They never got the pay, they never got anything, but they put their lives on the line to ensure several of these athletes are being mentioned. Prince Faisheton Are is one of them. He has, over the years, in the last 10-15 years, the way he had galvanized those power lifters, because it's easy to train weightlifters, but power lifters is a little bit difficult, because if you do not have the specific kind of equipment, it's difficult to do this, because you're going against people that do have this equipment to do that. And the fact that they probably from their hips downwards, they are not as mobile as others, it's a little bit challenging. And the way he had been able to do that over the years, and to have him fizzle out right now because of one or two reasons, but his legacy is still with those athletes, and those athletes are doing so well. I must say that for those people that might never ever get their names mentioned, congratulations to them.
Very good, Aaron. I was going to ask earlier about the, especially Amusan just coming into the scene in terms of the inadequacies of training facilities, as you alluded to earlier. But then again, we've seen headlines like this before. Someone just comes into the scene with so much vigor, and then critics will argue, have you actually checked her for drugs, or those performance enhancing drugs, as it were? And then that's when things starts unraveling. So I'm not saying that's the scenario here.
No, but the reason why don't worry. The reason why it should not play out is, before you go for major games like this, you must be superhuman, or you must have one of the biggest crooks as a doctor to be able to scale. Because the Athletics Integrity Unit, the organization in charge of checking athletes, you must submit out of competition testing. That's what they call it. Out of competition testing, you must submit 5. You must have done 5 tests, submit 5 samples leading up to the games. Because you wouldn't just do that. Of course, certainly, probably after the games, they might do random testing and the rest of them. But if you've done your out of competition testing and you are clean, you have no problem. And certainly some of these people, they've seen it play out. They've seen the likes of Marion Jones, for example, go this high and fall this low. They do not want that to happen. Lance Armstrong, after winning almost a dozen, what they call it, Tour de France, had a very, very bad story. Ultimately,
yeah, he did.
We know that these things exist within the game. We're still talking about Blessing Okagbare, as a matter of fact, and how things have actually unraveled for her. She was once the queen of track in Africa, and right now she's been reduced to the barest. And it's unfortunate that she still says she has a story to tell. I'm waiting to hear that story, because I'm a big fan. Years. Yeah, but I'm sure these athletes are very, very careful, and will be hoping that, for their own sake, that they are not deceived, because the doctors and the people around them play a huge role, because they are the ones that will tell them, don't worry, take this, you will not be caught. And because the athletes do not have time to go and look for these drugs, and it's the support cast around them that actually always do this. And we are happy that all these athletes have been testing and they're becoming clean, and we are hoping they remain clean, especially the likes of Esa Brume, Tobi, who are the edge of the tipping spear right now for Team Nigeria. I hope that they are clean going forward, because if they are, we just see more medals. We just see more accolades on the horizon, I must say.
Great. Now, I'm just wondering if you have any concerns about the pending, 7 competitions that we mentioned earlier. Do you have any?
At the moment, we're still hoping for quite a number of medals. We know that day 9, which was yesterday, was one of the best. 14 medals was brought in yesterday. 14 medals was brought in yesterday. Today might not actually live up to that particular high billing, but nevertheless, trust me, we've already started on a good note. We've gotten 2 gold, 1 bronze. Right now, because in the men's 4x100, they came in 3rd, so bringing in a bronze. The women 4x100 has brought in gold. The hurdles, 100-meter hurdles, Tobi Amusan has brought in gold. So it's looking good. It's looking good. And if the day ends like this, although we're asking for more, because we're all over 2, so we want more, but if the day ends magically right now, I think Team Nigeria has done well. And they'll just be hoping to go into tomorrow, the closing ceremony, gyrating, celebrating, and just waving the flag of Nigeria. Because, like someone said on social media, a lot of people are now getting accustomed to the national anthem of Nigeria, because too many golds are just pouring in for Team Nigeria, and they are having to witness at the Alexander Stadium the Nigerian national anthem being sung over and over and over and over again. Congratulations to Team Nigeria, I must say.
All right, Aaron. Yes, as you said earlier, the Olympics is the pinnacle of any athlete when it comes to scenarios such as this. But then again, you wonder, the current set of athletes we saw at this Commonwealth.
Yeah.
How would you gauge the level of entrance in terms of, are we seeing new faces or is still the old guard? I remember there was one time, Blessing Okabare, as we mentioned, when she was there for such a long time, there were calls for, don't we have any other athletes that could at least take over, at least when she's not up to it, and somebody else could take over? But that was the issue there. But what's the scenario now? Do we have newer faces?
We're not seeing
or still the same old guard?
No, we're not seeing any new face. Or the new faces are not. We're not seeing any. Okay, there's no new face. Let's put it that way. But what we have is.
But Amusan was little known until now.
Yes, no, Amusan. Yeah, if you've been in the athletic circuit, you know Amusan. Amusan has been running from the juniors down to, like I read, she had actually won quite a number of junior circuits.
Okay.
So she's not also a new. So she's not also a new face. The likes I mentioned, Okocha, Sarah Philly.
Yeah.
These are people that, to Nigerians, to the larger populace, they might be new faces. But if you're within the circuit, you know that these girls have been coming for a long time, and they are looking like the future of Nigerian athletics, given time. And we are hoping that's why I still mentioned the huge opportunity lost at the Olympics, whereby 10 athletes, no thanks to the fact that there was a squabble between the Ministry of Youth and Sport and the Athletic Federation of Nigeria, they were not able to complete the requisite 5 out of competition testing. And that meant that they could not participate in games. 10 athletes, and all out from the 10, off the top of my head, 6 of them have won gold at the Commonwealth Games.
Wow.
Chioma Onyekwere, she was part of those people, came in there, Commonwealth gold record in discus. Just imagine if she was given the opportunity at the Olympics in Tokyo, what she would have done. Ophelia also was there, part of those people that were disqualified. Right now, she's part of the 4x100 women's team that has actually won gold at this Commonwealth Games. We could go on, Okwacha, and also, we are hoping that the system helps those people. Most of those people are coming from a background of disadvantage. We do not have the enabling environment. We should not allow policies to stifle them also, because that will be not just a double whammy, but a triple whammy. We are going against people who are given funding, and people are given everything from the get-go. Because some of these athletes that they are competing against have been doing this for the last 14, 15, going to 2 decades. And they might just be 24. And they've been doing this since they were 5. And you're going against someone that just started probably professionally. Because it's one thing to run on the streets, and it's one thing to do something professionally. And they don't have professional experience for more than maybe 5 years. And you're competing against someone that has been doing it for 18 years, and you're still blistering the trail. This is why we have appealed to the government to help these people. There is no funding that is big enough to get our sporting circuit to where it should be. People should not be fighting to destroy the little we have. We should be protecting it.
What about the Athletics Federation in all of this? What has their role been? How proactive have they been? Yes, you mentioned the fact that, look, it was an individual desire to do well that propelled what we're seeing right now. So, you know, in that kind of scenario, yes, there was this argument that, okay, fine, perhaps we've been focusing too much on football. You know, at the detriment of...
Neil, let me stop you there. Let me stop you there, because now let's put it this way. For some people, I must commend Honorable Daniel Igali. He is the president of the Nigeria Wrestling Federation, and at the same time, he's a commissioner of sports in Bayelsa State.
Canadian.
Yes, you can put it that way. Put it that way. No, but the fact that he has an opportunity with this, with that talk of always Jackpot, people wanted to leave Nigeria. He has come back to Nigeria. We know he represented Canada at some point. He has come back to Nigeria, and he has devoted all his strength. And we must say kudos to the Bayelsa State government that have supported him heavily and immensely. And what he has done, that is what happens when there is synergy. That is what happens when you galvanize your strength towards one particular cause. Wrestling is now a force to reckon with, because There is no infighting in their federation. They get the funding from the Bayelsa state government. Odunayo Adukoroye right now has won gold at this particular Commonwealth Games. Blessing Oburududu and two others have actually brought in medals. Oburududu won gold. Oburududu went to the Tokyo Games. She was the only person that got a silver at the Tokyo Games. And just imagine if we have people like that have one individual focus, have a sole purpose. Just imagine what will happen to the federations, because most of those people are capped not by the federal government, but they are capped in Bayelsa State, and Bayelsa State is not necessarily known for the build when it comes to wrestling, but because they have someone who has been to the highest level, who has been at the highest level, who has competed at the highest level, knows the sport, and he has come back and he has devoted his time, and he has the funding from the Bayelsa State government. And the rewards are beginning to show for all.
Yeah.
Just imagine if that is replicated in all other federations.
Yeah.
The Basketball Federation is a mess. The Athletics Federation is another hot mess. We should not be having this. Just imagine if, for example, what I've just mentioned in weightlifting, in wrestling, happens to athletics. Just imagine how many people will be found. Because what is happening is, like I've mentioned once, some young guys, making of champions is what they call themselves. They have come together and they've decided to put funds together to help some of these athletes that are right now blazing the trail at the games. Should individuals, small boys that should be thinking of how to enjoy themselves or probably how to live a life, be doing the work of a federation or the government?
Funny enough, it might be a wake-up call. Her victory might be a wake-up call for...
We are hoping so. No, because the point is, we've been here before. Remember, the golden era where we had the Choma Ojumas of this world, the Gloria Lozes of this world. We've been here before. What happened? Because the point is, after a while, like life, probably this is a tipping point for us in athletics. After a while, if the indices do not just align, we just teeter and fizzle out. And we are hoping not, because there are people out there still back here in Nigeria watching that and saying that if I'm given this opportunity, I might do just as well or even better. My hope is that we get our acts right and at least, if not even fund these people, because Nigerians, we are very creative in putting things together. Just create the enabling environment. Right now, the stadium per human being here in Nigeria, normally in the UK, for example, or in the US, for example, it is one stadium to 300,000 athletes. In the UK, it's one stadium to about 500,000 athletes. But in Nigeria, it's one stadium to about 7 million people. When you look at that, look at the disparity. Where do we even start from? And these stadiums, they are most of the time the few ones that we have are overrun with hoodlums.
Indeed.
Hopefully
we get something positive out of all of this. Aaron, thanks for your thoughts on the Commonwealth Games. It's good to have you.
Congratulations to you here in Nigeria. Congratulations to you, Nigeria. We're doing great right now. We're doing great right now.
Hopefully we can sustain that momentum.
Yes, we can.
Thank you for your thoughts.
Always a pleasure.